back in Brussels, we're taking the opportunity to get 6 of our elected councillors. Of course, the BNP hasn't got any councillors, that's what they keep saying, but we've got 6 here up in Brussels, and we've had this spiel about how democratic the EU is. Of course, that's nonsense. And it was just an idea that we had to ask some of our councillors just how different the idea of democracy is from local government to what goes on here in Brussels. We thought that would be an interesting contrast. So we start with Richard Perry. Richard, whereabouts are you from exactly? We know you're from down south, as we say, but whereabouts exactly?
Essex. I'm from Essex. I hold 2 seats, one in Langford and Alton and one in Heybridge.
Okay, and what did you make of this kind of veneer of democracy that was portrayed to you today with the Commission and the tier structure down to the ministers and whatever?
Well, as a councillor, I see it from our perspective, that they make decisions here that affect my parishioners, like keeping the borders open, and my parishioners have to have all their green spaces and fields filled with housing to house all the people that they're sending over here.
Yeah. It's a completely different thing, really, isn't it? Completely different. Way up in the other side of England, we've got Dawn from Maryport. Dawn, what did you make of the presentation today?
Well, it was interesting, but I think we should be out of the EU. We should never have gone in the first place. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit like Maryport Town Council, really. I think everything's decided and that's it. No say in the matter.
No, it's very frustrating, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's very frustrating. I mean, I feel quite frightened coming to a place like this, that all these laws are being made, and we just bystanders, aren't we? We don't have anything to do with it.
No say or anything.
Yeah. Partner in crime, Councillor Jefferson.
Mr. Darby.
You've been here today listening to the spiel, quite active in the intimidation of the EU official as well, were you not? I sense of frustration.
Yes, it was bureaucratic baiting, wasn't it?
It was.
By the,
artistic,
by the
though.
members.
Artistic,
very interesting. I think everybody had a good debate with the official that was briefing us on. It's not there now, but the makeup of the European way of democracy, which is a sham. It's probably not for this. It's a short little article. You could go on all day about it, but there's no democracy. All the laws come from 28 appointed officials from right across Europe. And the point I would like to make is the 766 democratically elected members of the European Parliament cannot bring or enact or initiate any will of the people at all. The laws come from 28 commissioners. We can adjust a bit of grammar, as you know, reject the odd thing, but it comes back around again. There's no democracy in the European system.
No. And that was a point I thought that was very well made by probably the chief baiter of today. That was Austin. Austin, you're originally from my neck of the woods, but you're in the north of England now. You find yourself a BNP councillor as well, don't you?
And when it comes to baiting, I am the master.
Yeah, right. You were very vociferous, shall we say, in the torment of the EU official today, were you not? He was very professional, and he earned his corner, though he did have to work particularly hard today, but you were taking no prisoners, were you?
Well, I think I struggle with the fact that he obviously had an agenda, supposedly on the fence, supposedly objective, but not at all really, and he's trying to defend the very antithesis of what we understand modern democracy to be, which is government of the people, for the people, by the people. And without quoting the rest of the Gettysburg Address, that is what modern democracy comprises. And you don't see any of that coming out of this place. My own personal reasons for joining this party and for being part of the nationalist movement stems from my own Christian beliefs that we need to defend our lands. We need to tend our lands, and that's not necessarily the children. It's the young. It's the young man from East London's elderly, the underprivileged, the people in our country in 2013 who are starving. And and the rot stops here, and the fight back has got to start here.
Angus, as a young chap, young father, what do you make of all this EU propaganda, and how does it affect you?
My overriding opinion is that these people work for us, they wallow in our taxes, and we are subject to diktats from Europe, continually told our lifestyle's changed, British rules steamrolled, traditions eradicated. So come here, see it, enjoy the time, but don't give them any leeway, give them hell. Keep fighting the European Union.
Thank you very much, Angus. I mean, there's no messing about there. And finally, the last of our councillors, I know your name, but would you like to tell everybody who you are and where you're from?
Brian Parker from Nelson, that's in Pendle.
Yeah, Brian, I noticed you had a bit to say as well today, and it's very frustrating, isn't it? The idea that people can dehumanise the European population by lumping us all in together, assuming that we're all one homogeneous carbon unit. It's frustrating to hear it, isn't it?
We're here at the heart of the terrible, colossal social engineering experiment. That's what it's all about. Destroying national identities throughout Europe, deliberately using mass immigration to do that. And at the end of the experiment, we just think of ourselves as European or world citizens. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, you've heard it. I agree with exactly with what everything has been said there, and you get what you get on the tin with the BNP. I mean, we just say it as it is, don't we? Really, there's no other way to say it. It is what it is, and we probably the only party who are prepared to say it. So, round of applause for our councillors, please.